Okay, in this video, I am going to go over the first part of section 4.4 in the IGCSE Marine syllabus, in the new syllabus here for 2025 exam. As always, these videos are made for my class, but anyone is welcome to use them. This is non-profit, and any errors are mine and mine alone. As always, in any IGCSE syllabus, especially the sciences, it's a good idea to have a look at what's in the syllabus, because the syllabus very clearly state what they expect you to know and learn about this subject. A lot of this has a huge overlap with ecology in biology, so you have biology at the same time. You're going to find a lot of the concepts here is overlapping. You must state that the sun is a principal energy source. No big surprise, we just had the former chapter talking about photosynthesis. You must be able to go in and describe a food chain and showing the transfer of energy from one organism to the other. Also remember that the arrows in the food chain shows the transfer of energy. Describe food web as a network of interconnected food chains. You must be able to construct food chains and food webs in the exam, and describe trophic levels as a position of an organism in a food chain, food web, or ecological pyramid. We must also be able to describe both producers and consumers, and we must look at the different type of consumers, primary, secondary, and tertiary, according to the position in the food chain. And we must be able to describe a different kind of consumers, herbivores, carnivores, omnivore, and detritivores. We must be able to go into detail on what a detritivore is doing, as it's breaking down dead waste organic material, and describe the predator-prey relationship, the predator being the hunter and the prey being, well, no big surprise, the prey. So let's get on with the chapter. So here comes a lot of the keywords in our syllabus here. We talk about trophic levels, which is the first level. The first trophic level is our primary producers. The primary producers are the one, in most cases, who use light energy to fixate carbon dioxide into chemical energy. Our primary producers are then consumed by our different consumers. The first one being our herbivores. Herbivore meaning they eat plant material. And the next ones being the carnivore. Carnivore meaning they eat other animals. So for each trophic level we go up, we have a name for it. So we'll have the second, third, fourth, fifth level of consumers. We rarely have more than 5 or 6 levels because, as we'll talk about later, energy get lost in this transfer. So we can't have that many top carnivores, that many apex predators, simply because there is energy lost as heat in each step. Also, things get lost that get taken up by the decomposers, who then recycles the nutrients, and those nutrients can go back and be a part of the primary producers again. So being able to draw a pyramid like this is also quite often required in the IGCSE science exams. So it's a good thing to practice. And again, there's a lot of new keywords here, which I'm going to go over again in the end. So do yourself a favor and practice these keywords. A food web is the interaction of all food chains within an ecosystem. And normally when we draw them here, they are way too simplified because you can quite often have a lot of organisms affecting each other in a food web. And some of these food webs becomes hyper complex. But again, in our example here, we haven't drawn the sun, but the sun will be giving energy to the plankton. As we see, there's more than one organism who eats a plankton, both the krill, the herring, and the scallop. And the herring gets eaten by a lot of other animals, both the tuna, the seal, and our dogfish. So in this food web here, our primary producers is the plankton. All of the others are consumers, and in this case here, our seal will be our top consumer, or the more cool name, it will be our apex predator in this food web. You will quite often be asked to draw arrows in a food web like this in the exam, and talk about who is the producers and consumers. So it's a good idea to practice being able to navigate in food webs like this. Again, like in the food chain, here the arrows represent the transfer of energy from one trophic level to the next. So in section 4.4, there is quite a few keywords. And if you haven't had biology, it's a good advice to take some time to familiarize you with these. Herbivore are organisms, consumers who eat plants. Carnivore are consumers who eat other animals. Omnivores means pretty much open for anything, will eat anything, both plant or animal material. Detritivores are the organisms breaking down the stuff that falls off the food chain and falls to the bottom. A producer is an organism who's either a photoautotroph or a chemoautotroph, and thereby uses either light energy or chemical energy to fixate carbon and bring chemical energy into the food chain. And consumers are organisms who consume others. We can talk about primary, secondary, and so on. A predator is an animal who eats other animals, that being the predator, and the animal who get eaten is the prey. Be aware that an animal can both be a predator and a prey. For example, a herring can be a predator for krill and then a prey for a tuna. Thank you for staying with me.